We are here at AhoaCon 2021. Today we have Vimal Patel, the president and CEO of Q Hotels. Vimal knows all about good and bad partnerships. He has seen too many partnerships come and go in the hotel business, and he's finally decided to share how hotel owners can protect themselves from a bad hotel partnership. All this and more on this episode of True Hotel Leaders, where leaders teach leaders. Special thanks to No Vacancy News, AHOA, and Red Roofing. Lately, more and more guests don't carry cash with them, which means the housekeepers aren't getting as many tips as they used to. We Tip Hotels allow guests to tip your employees with their credit card, and it doesn't cost your hotel a dime. Get your employees more money at WeTipHotels.com.
Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It's Bruce Jordan, and we're here with another episode of True Hotel Leaders, where leaders teach leaders. I am here with the president and CEO of Q Hotel Management, Vimal Patel. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are
Thanks
you?
for making it. Thanks for making it.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, everybody wants to be in a partnership they think they could get done. They say everybody wants to be partners until there's a pandemic, and then they don't want to be partners anymore.
Well, don't we know that?
So tell us, what are some of the things we should look out for when it comes to partnerships? What makes us want to form a partnership?
So the partnership, again, it's what I consider is this a long-term relationship. It's like a marriage, right? You getting into that, whether it's a partnership, whether it's an investment, whether it's partnership through the operations and some other skill sets that you bring to the table, whether it's through developing an asset, and so there are different avenues of becoming a partner. And if in pandemic, if you are just a simple equity partner where you are just invested cash, and all of a sudden now we're getting capital calls.
Yeah.
We didn't anticipate that. The liquidity quickly is drying up. That's a situation. For painful relationship and painful exits for a lot. In a situation where your occupants had gone down to teens. There has been a lot of liquidity crunch, and so we all have gone through that, and there's been a lot of painful conversations among the stakeholders, and there are times that some of the stakeholders can't meet the capital call.
Yeah.
And so that's been a challenge as well, and it's a relationship and working through it. The members involved in the entity, how can they work through it? Operating agreement is one side, but at the same time, relationship and the situations and so forth, whether we can make it work through these tough times and be able to make the partnership work through until we get to better times.
Now, what are some of the things that we should look out for when we're forming a partnership with other partners to protect ourselves?
The couple of things, right? The first of all, we had to identify the operating agreement. An operating agreement should be reviewed, by the attorney. So to protect yourself, so what options do you have? Whether you have rights in the operations, whether you have rights to make a certain decision, whether they need to vote, to make certain capital expenses. Whether it's debt, whether it's a sale of the property, whether whatever the critical financial conditions that affects the operating entity, right? And the biggest part is that, okay, how do you handle the capital call, right? What are your rights? The profit sharing, whether you're just a silent member, whether you don't have any rights, right? Depending how much and what are you bringing to the table. It will vary based on that. So it's very critical to understand, okay, what is that you're investing, whether it's your time, whether it's cash, whether it's bringing in some other skill sets, and then how much rights that you want, how much power that you want. Do we need to be just a silent, nothing to do with? You just collect the checks at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year, right? And then when the capital call comes in, what happens then? So you have to be prepared for the worst case scenario as well. So it's critical to understand that operating agreement, how it's done.
Nice. Now I heard you have a bunch of great stories about how every single partnership just worked out perfectly. So tell us about some of the things that you've seen when partnerships went south and no one agreed with anything anymore and it's time to move on.
Right. So there has been a lot of instances where all of a sudden whether it's the asset is doing extremely great and there are differences of opinion in what to do next or versus when the assets are pretty bad financially and there are other unfortunate circumstances they have trouble, including the debt, right?
Yeah.
The lender can force upon the brand. Default can come through places, right? So there are a lot of situations that can trigger, lawsuits, liability, slip and fall, for instance, or any other, situations that happen. And the entity and membership, again, this goes back to the earlier questions about protecting and the liability part of it in the operating agreement. So in a situation that bad things happens, obviously everybody's at a disagreement, and all of a sudden the partners doesn't want to talk to each other, and then maybe there's a distaste, trust, and so now the attorneys maybe get involved. But again, there has to be a happy medium because at the end of the day, the asset is going to suffer.
Exactly.
Exactly. And if you have staff, if you have employees, if you have customers, those are going to suffer as well, right? So in the scenarios where everybody disagrees and can't see eye to eye, there has to be some mediation and give and take in order to resolve that. There are times that you can work through it. There are times it literally goes through the court system and fight it out. Again, it all depends on how big of a value of the asset that we're talking about it and so forth. So now in the opposite side, if you're selling an asset or if the asset is making far exceeded the expectations and the revenue, right? So there's a questions about how much reserves and how much the contributions that each members have shared to distribution about that, and even I think most of the questions comes about what value do we sell the asset if there's an offer on the table, and then you have to worry about the tax implications, follow that, and what are the fees involved, who is taking what fees, and how much you're getting in your pocket, the net amount after the sale. So all that kind of factors in a sense of also disagreement, because when there's a huge value involved, and then when you're looking at the final number that's coming to you, it may not be what you were thinking, and so those are the challenges that different scenarios kind of plays out.
I love when the attorneys come out and do it's like a $50,000 disagreement. They spend like $250,000 in attorney fees. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you for coming out. How can everybody get in touch with you?
So you can hit me up on Twitter at Vimal Q, or on LinkedIn at Vimal Patel.
And you know what we're here to do. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of True Hotel Leaders, where leaders teach leaders. See you in the next one.